coming off of our transformations discussions, we're going to build on top of that with transforming type again and compositing that type onto the side of a building. And we're also going to use layer masks to help us age that type on the building, almost as if it were weathered and underneath the elements. So I just laid down a little type with my type tool. And getting that situated, I'm going to scale that up and I'm going to transform it. And I think I'm going to use the perspective. But before I usually like to duplicate things. I'm going to rasterize that and go to perspective and try to situate that into perspective. Gonna adjust that. Whenever I do this, I usually use the lines of the building to help me line up the typography or the image or whatever I'm trying to lay in perspective. And you'll know, believe it or not, when it looks off or right or when you're pretty close. So just keep practicing. Now we have a bit of a problem. Just this tiny bit of Y is overlaid the in front of the light pole here, and we're going to use a layer mask to help mask out some of that Y in the word library. So I'm going to go over to my layer mask. I'm going to use my brush tool, and I'm going to paint in black. Remember, black covers up. And I'm just going to paint out that little bit of Y. And remember, if we mess up, we can always paint in white and get that back again. Now, just as an additional practice, I did another word that's even more overlapping that light pole. So I'm going to add in another layer mask to this type. I'm going to use my brush and paint out or mask out that area where the light pole is. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Always need to make sure that I'm painting in the mask layer, that little thumbnail that's next to our original thumbnail in our layer panel. And just trying to do a really quick job. Do a little straight line there. Straight lines are great to do with the brush tool. All you have to do is click once and then hold shift down and click again, and it makes a perfectly straight line with the brush tool. So I like how this is coming along. We're not after perfection, we're just trying to learn masking. And when we zoom out, that looks pretty good. I like the way that light pole is overlapping that welcome word. And now we want to apply some more masking, but this time we're going to use the brush tool in a different way. I'm just taking down the opacity of the letters just so it's not so strong. So it's a little transparent now. I'm going to go back to my layer mask and I'm going to look for a brush that is textured. Notice that you have all of these brushes already installed, and I'm just looking for a textured brush. Right now it was a little too big, so I went smaller using left bracket. Left bracket always makes your brush smaller, right bracket always makes your brush bigger. And I'm just eating away at those letters. I'm masking out parts of those letters just to give them almost like this library's been there forever and this sign needs to be repainted. I'm going to do another example here. Lay down some type. And this time I found that after some different uses of the transform menu, I think I did transform perspective first and it wasn't really working. And I think the reason why is because this building is shot at an isometric angle and it worked better when I did a couple of things. I think I did skew first and then I did distort, which is a little bit more customized, and you'll see me run through that. I'm just trying to pick the right color here, and then I'll start to distort. I need to rasterize this type and then adjust it. You can see that the A in dystopia doesn't exactly match up a line with that side, so I'm going to use distort just to help straighten that out a little bit. There we go, distort. And then I'm going to bring that A in. There we go. That's a lot better. That A is more straight on, just like the side of that little outcropping. And once I have this, I'm going to duplicate it and I'm going to do something special with this. Now I've duplicated this type and I'm going to command select that type that's on the underneath or the bottom layer, and I'm going to fill it with black. And just to give it a little bit more punch, not that, but just to give it a little bit more punch, I'm going to fill it with black, and you're going to see that type stand out a little bit more, almost like a sign. It gives it that type a little bit more depth. And then I'm going to combine both of those layers. I'm going to merge down, and then I'm going to apply a layer mask and start to distress this type with that mask using that same technique. Almost as if this sign has been there forever and needs to be repainted. Have fun with this.